Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to this, your May 15th through May 31st reading and predictions. A very warm welcome to each and every one of you. Please stick around in this video all the way until the end. I do have a special treat for you where I will be pulling yes, no cards. Many of us walk through life asking really important questions that we need a yes or a no answer to. So, if you're willing to put your trust and your faith into this general reading and into this itty bitty little deck, I will pull yes, no cards for you, so prepare your questions. Okay, Aquarius, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button and subscribing, it really does help get these messages out to more people. And without any further ado, let's move on. In your last reading, there was a little bit of indication of some upheaval, but there was a pesky card that has come up in, I believe, your last three readings, and that would be the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords indicates deceit of some kind or deception. But here's the thing. If you have not sussed out or figured out who the Seven of Swords represents in your life in the last 6 to 8 weeks, because that's when this card keeps coming up, indicating that there may be some deception or deceit in your midst. If you haven't figured out who it is and it's not someone external, then it might be you. And that might sound harsh, Aquarius, except that I'm an Aquarius too. And so sometimes the hardest thing that we have to do in life is be accountable and look in the mirror. So if you haven't figured out who the Seven of Swords is, and it's not someone external to you, you may be playing a game of self-sabotage right now. Hopefully, as I dive into this reading, the Seven of Swords stays hidden. And all of us Aquarians have figured this out and we're ready to move forward, because having the same card come up over a period of 6 or 8 weeks is disturbing, especially when it's the Seven of Swords. So let's dive in and see what's going on. These are cards of where you are at now, Aquarius, what is going on for you right now. I'm laughing. What's going to happen here? These cards. There's another card here. It's sticking out. Excuse me for sniffling. It is an extremely cold, wet, rainy day, and I have a runny nose. I was laughing because, Aquarius, the cards for where you are at now, you have the transformation card and the schizophrenia card. The transformation card, it corresponds to the death card from the traditional tarot. And the transformation card is about just that. It's about the cycle of life, life, death, rebirth. It is about manifestation. It's about letting go of something so that something new can move in. It is about a change or a shift. Now, incidentally, in your last reading, we closed out the last reading with a Tower card. And the Tower card as well is about something ending so that it can make space or make room for something new to come in and manifest. And now we're starting this one off. Thank goodness we're not starting this one off with the Seven of Swords. We're starting it off with the Death card instead, indicating that there is some kind of ending to, for some of you, this may be the ending of a relationship that's been teetering on the edge for some time. And you guys are likely the ones that figured out who the Seven of Swords was, and it may have been someone who was external to you. For those of us who couldn't figure out who the Seven of Swords was external to us and were forced to look in the mirror and we're likely sabotaging ourselves. So hopefully you've done this internal work. I know I have. I have been doing a very deep dive into my own self-sabotage behaviors, Aquarius. we are now on the cusp of a transformation, which is wonderful. But whenever we have a transformation, we end up needing to make a choice or a decision. This card corresponds to the Two of Swords. And the reason it says schizophrenia, it is not referring to the disease schizophrenia. Instead, this is referring to some of the symptoms that schizophrenics have, wherein decision making is very difficult for many schizophrenics. Okay. And it's where you're put in a situation where you have to make a decision on blind faith. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Okay. The character on this card is up near the top here. And the character is holding on between two precipices, holding on by fingernails on one side and holding on by toenails on the other side. And if he lets go with his fingernails, he's going to be left hanging by his toenails. If he lets go by his toenails, he's going to be left hanging on by his fingernails. And that could result in him sliding down the edge of one of these precipices. So, what is the best way out of an impossible decision making process where you can't see the outcome, right? That's basically what the Two of Swords is. And in fact, in the traditional tarot, if you look at the character on the cards for the traditional Two of Swords, the character is blindfolded, indicating you need to make a decision on blind faith. You can't see the outcome. You can't foresee the outcome. A lot of the times we can say to ourselves when we have to make a decision, well, if I do this, then this will happen. If I do that, then that will happen. But when this card appears, we can't see what this or that is. We just have to make a choice, make a decision, and go for it. So that's how we're starting off your reading. What are you focusing on? What are you focusing on? Where are you putting your attentions, Aquarius, for the latter half of May? So you'll notice here that a card turned over. I'm going to pull that one out. Okay. And the other card, the first one. All right, we have the Three of Pentacles and we have the Six of Cups. Threes and sixes coming up for you. You might want to pay attention to 369. You might want to pay attention to certain frequencies at this time. If you have not already done so, Aquarius, when threes and sixes and potentially nines come up, because this card is also the 13 down here. Take a deep dive into 369 in relation to Nikola Tesla. Just putting that out there. All right. You have the Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles is a card of if you're confused and you're not sure what's going on, ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Now, specifically, I would say that this relates to this Two of Swords here. If you can't see the outcomes or the potential outcomes of your decisions and you're having trouble making a decision, Aquarius, don't be afraid to ask for help and ask for guidance. It's okay. And you have the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is the card that I like to call the nostalgia card. It is the card of thinking about the past, remembering the past, oftentimes remembering the past fondly and being a little nostalgic about it. The downside to the Six of Cups, Aquarius, is that you don't get so caught up in the nostalgia that you sugarcoat something from the past and, I don't know, call up an ex or do something silly like that. That is the downside. But the beautiful side of this card is remembering the past fondly and just being in the moment, being in that childlike moment of, I remember when that happened. Oh, it was so beautiful. Okay. So, yeah, Three of Pentacles, manifesting some help. Six of Cups, manifesting or focusing on the past. and in a good way. Let's dive into what is coming up in your difficult influences and challenges. I'm getting called over here to the tarot. Difficult influences and challenges. Difficult influences and challenges for Aquarius. Soul lesson. I will get to that card in just a moment. Okay. All right. In your difficult influences and challenges, you have two major arcana, Aquarius. You have the Hierophant, which was the first card to jump out, and then you have the World. The Hierophant. Let me jump into this card. This is the card of belief systems based on the institutions that we were raised in. That includes the very first institution that we are ever exposed to as babies being our family. The next institution would be either society or religion and then society in one of those two orders. The next institution would be education. After that, we move into our workplace. That is an institution as well. Certain workplaces have different types of belief systems. The Hierophant calls upon us to look at the belief systems that were handed to us or forced upon us, as some people like to believe or say, and do a deep dive into those belief systems, because as we become adults, as we move through adulthood, we recognize that some of the belief systems that the institution of family or the institution of religion placed upon us, or the institution of the society that we were raised in placed upon us, no longer resonate for us. There's certain belief systems that, I don't know, let's go with religion just for fun. There is a belief system in most of the religions that you don't marry outside of your religion. And yet, a lot of adults in our modern global world, we commingle with all sorts of different religions. It's not like 150, 200 years ago. And some people are of the belief system that you can't help who you fall in love with. And then they bump into religion because perhaps they fall in love with someone who is of a different religious background from them. And the Hierophant asks us to look at those belief systems. What still resonates for you as an adult that was handed to you as a belief system when you were a child? This is a really deep dive, a really interesting lesson. And unfortunately, Aquarius, it is in your difficult influences, indicating that you have likely bumped into an institutional belief in the very recent past, probably within the last month, and you're questioning it. You're doing that deep dive. It's in your difficult influences. And you also have the World in your difficult influences. Now, the World card typically revolves around success in all of your endeavors, closing out a soul lesson, leveling up, a prosperous new career or new partnership. And basically, the world is your oyster and opportunity abounds. It's in your difficult influences, Aquarius, indicating that, yes, it's all out there, but there's something preventing you from getting to all of that, to the world is your oyster, to the opportunities. Chances are it is probably this Hierophant work. Okay. Once you've done the Hierophant work, the world is your oyster. and there's opportunities out there for you. But you are absolutely, this transformation, it's, to be honest, Aquarius, it is not uncommon for the transformation card to come up and then for the Hierophant to come up. In fact, I would say in over 90% of the readings I do, these two cards come up together, or the Tower and the Hierophant come up. Hierophant is probably one of the most powerful cards for that shift and that transformation and that change that we go through, because it requires us to challenge everything that we've ever been taught. That may be why you're needing to ask for help and guidance at this time. And it may also be why you have the nostalgia card, because as we're doing Hierophant work, there is this desire from a small, tiny part of us that says, if only we could go back to the way it once was. Why does life have to, why do we have to do these deep dives? All right. Messages from the universe for you here, Aquarius. All right, we're going to go through the deck again. Messages from the universe for Aquarius. What does Aquarius need to hear at this time? All right, Aquarius, do not relinquish your power. And let go of the ego. Yeah. Do those two cards resonate for you, Aquarius? It's interesting that you have let go of your ego and don't relinquish your power. Because a lot of people view the ego as their power. So it's interesting that you've got those two cards coming together, as well as the Hierophant here. So, definitely looking into belief systems at this time, Aquarius. Deep dive into your belief systems. All right, let's take a look at your unexpected. Unexpected for Aquarius for the latter half of May. One is in my lap. Unexpected for Aquarius. All right, so the first card landed in my lap. Let me pick it up. The Chariot and the Queen of Wands. You know what? The Queen of Wands has been coming out a fair bit. All right, the Chariot. And guess what? The Chariot represents a decision. But once the decision is made, something comes charging into your life. There's huge changes and shifts. It is going to basically be like a chariot just barging into your life. But you do have to make a decision first. And chances are that decision is not necessarily going to be an easy decision, just as this Two of Swords was already indicating earlier. And chances are the decision that you need to make is directly related to a belief system that you have that has been passed down through specific institutions. And once you make that decision, there's going to be this huge shift, this huge transformation for you. It brings me to the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is a powerful, rich queen who also is the queen of fire. She is the queen of action. She is the queen of making things happen. You have two cards in your unexpected, indicating that once you've made a decision, and it is likely a decision specifically related to the Hierophant, related to a belief system, a big one, there's going to be huge shifts and changes and transformation for you, Aquarius. Final general overall outcome. Over here to the fairies. Final general overall outcome for Aquarius for the end of May. Oh, here we go again. Fairies. We need 2 to 3 cards, not half the deck. Been doing readings today, and the fairies have been a little naughty. All right. Final general overall outcome for Aquarius. We already have a few cards out. Oh, there's one more card that wants to come out. You will notice here, Aquarius, there's one more card. It is the Five of Swords. Walk away from dishonest associations. Walk away from something that no longer serves your highest good. It's interesting because the Five of Swords, oh, you have two princesses here as well. A little bit of naive energy going on. I'll get to those in just a moment. It's interesting because the Five of Swords has similar energy to the Seven of Swords. Now, the Seven of Swords is you need to walk away from something because there's deception or deceit. The Five of Winter or Five of Swords is also about walking away from something that is not serving your highest good. Something feels icky. Do I say that? It's part of the transformation. All right. When we do Hierophant work, Aquarius, and we realize that certain belief systems that were handed down to us through the generations, and that those belief systems no longer serve us. When we sometimes do the deep dive into the Hierophant work, we also research the history of certain belief systems. And what we can realize is that certain belief systems are based off of something that was untoward or dishonest, or once we recognize the belief system for what it is, it has that icky feeling to it when we get ready to release it. I really feel that that's what this Five of Winter is representing for you, Aquarius. The Five of Winter, in the context of the rest of this reading, is more about walking away from a certain belief system, a long held belief system that you've had, rather than walking away from an actual person. Now you have as I mentioned, you have two princesses, and the princesses in this deck represent the pages. Pages are young, naive, active, adventurous characters in the deck. And remember, you had over here in your unexpected, you have the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is going after your dreams. The Princess of Spring, also known as the Page of Wands, is also about going after your dreams. It's about putting yourself out into the world. And in fact, oftentimes the Princess of Spring or the Page of Wands is representative of some kind of travel or a relocation of some kind. So do something that opens up your eyes to the world. Oh, yeah. What's going to do that? That one. Princess of Summer. Page of Cups. Page of Cups is about something that is flighty, something that comes into your life and sweeps you off your feet, but it's usually fleeting. This card sometimes represents a fling with a partner, just a quick little thing, but something that fling is there for a reason to teach you something. But it can also represent like something new happening in your life or some kind of new type of adventure. But it's usually a very emotional experience, but it is very fleeting. This card has very fleeting energy. Final card in your reading, Aquarius, is the Sun. The Sun. Now, in the tarot, we have 3 cards that are considered the happiest cards in the deck, and the Sun would be number 1 out of those. This is a card of the sun is shining down on you, plans are working out perfectly, you've got, um, you know, this is supposed to represent sunshine, rainbows, unicorns, your dream partner riding in on their horse and saving you from everything, and amazing ideas and leads to rewards and so on. Either way, the sun is an extremely positive way to leave off this reading, indicating that once you do the hard work, Aquarius, the hard hierophant work, the world really is your oyster and you can have anything you want. You just have to walk away from that which is no longer serving your highest good. You absolutely need to make a decision to walk away. And you might not be able to see the outcome, but that's okay. All right. Hit that like button. Please subscribe. And let's get going. So bring to mind your yes, no question, Aquarius. Yes or no for Aquarius. All right. Aquarius, in response to your yes, no question, the card's answer for you is reconsider. Please reconsider. Okay. Thank you so much. Please allow me the honor of doing your next reading at the beginning of June.